G'day, ladies and gentlemen. It's game day, and it is a massive, massive time here in Western Australia.
Yeah, it's a huge, it's huge, mate. It's a huge time in Western Australia. Nice strip, mate.
Absolutely.
I don't know why you're wearing it. No idea why.
Got the Bears gear on, ready to go. It's 2027. It can't come soon enough. But of course, tonight the focus goes to goes all the way to Ellenbrook, and it's the Fremantle Roosters with their first game of the year up against the Joondalup Giants.
Yeah, we're speaking off air. There's been quite a bit of change across the women's competition this year. Joondalup, of course, the defending Premier. We saw last week they got actually towed up by their northern rivals, Ellenbrook, home and Ellenbrook. And so we're wondering how they're going to be able to compete. And they've got some numbers issues up against a team that I think probably hasn't done enough over the past few years in Fremantle. I'm really interested to see how both of them go.
Absolutely. I mean, but they both look like they've named strong teams here tonight. Joondalup a lot stronger than they were in round one. It seems strange to say that they were struggling for numbers in the first game of the season. Grand final rematch. They should have been up and about, but they weren't. As we have a look at those scores from last week, because the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs 36-0 in that one, and the Willagee Bears, we had a couple of big results. We're talking about the Bears, but the Willagee kind.
They look impressive. The young team, a lot of toe. I'm really interested to see what they do this week. Obviously, they had the bye, but we are a bit behind. We were waiting for the teams to run out. We're a bit behind, and we're just about for the kickoff, Donny. But again, I'm really interested to see how both teams go. The defending Premier against the young upstarts. See how we go.
Well, it's Tiana Graham that gets us underway for the Roosters, and the Joondalup Giants, they'll have first use of the ball. They'll work it out of their own end. A bit of a juggle there from Smiler. He's able to reel it back in. But it makes her easy meat there for the defence. Claudia Foster in there making the tackle. The ball's come free of Edwards. She looks around, pleading with referee Noonan. Liam said it was helped out. And it's a penalty to the Giants. Tap and go now for the Giants veteran. They work towards the open side. The ball again hits the deck. No help that time from a Rooster. No help from the referee. And they'll hand it over, and the Roosters will get their first use of the pill. And Paul to feed the scrum. They'll have pretty good field position for their first use, because they had the bye in round one, the Roosters.
Right, two hands, ball
so we haven't seen anything from them so far.
I need your head in, Freo. Heads in, arms around. Right in, Freo, right in. Your head, that's it, good.
That's it.
Liam Noonan on comm as well. It's good to see him. Haven't seen him for a couple of weeks.
Pass is fine.
Graham just double pumping, holding that ball up to the last possible moment before giving it to Horner. Go behind the advantage line that time for Runga. Put down. Koniovic bunts. Huya Swinnell switching clubs this year, coming from the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs. Looking forward to seeing what she can do in Roosters colours. Here she is, Swinnell, dummies to the outside, runs around in behind her, a decoy runner, but nobody fooled from Joondalup, so play on 5. Can they have a good finish to this set? It's dribbled through by Graham. It catches the legs. It's kicked forward there by the Giants and picked up in an offside position. Well, it was messy, Dave, but they get a result here, the Roosters. A penalty and another set of 6 coming.
Yeah, going early as well. We've got some updates. We did have some updates I wanted to talk about in the pre-game from the ground for team sheets. Did we know if Joondalup's going to have a bench tonight?
Yeah, Joondalup look like they've got a fairly strong list numbers-wise. It's the numbers are all over the place, but I think they've got about 18 or 19 that they've named. There's Foster. Foster gives that one on. A chance for Paul. Paul floats it out wide. They've got numbers. She should have just gone for the corner.
Done.
The cover defence from the Giants is exceptional. Denying Tiana Jenkins, but they dive over next play. Kwan gets over in the corner. And the Roosters, well, they probably should have scored a play earlier.
The cover defence was great, but then just switched off. Switched off in that second, and she managed to just nab one just below the feet. Yeah, just go to the right, dish it in. We've seen another blowout. You could probably tell the viewers the score in the earlier game. Have we gone through that yet?
Yeah, so no, we haven't as yet. So Ellenbrook Rabbitohs against the Kalamunda Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs. You saw in the pre-game how much they struggled, and they struggled again this week, going down to a very strong Rabbitohs team, 86-0. The good news from that, Mahina Rangi-Clare playing her 100th game for the Rabbitohs. She scored 4 tries.
4 tries. That's a good return. It's been a stagnated start for these girls as well, because a couple of weeks ago they all fronted up for Anzac Challenge. So they played Anzac Challenge in the reps, essentially, before any of them actually ran out on the park. And she's actually done a good effort there, just sent that wide. If you're the Roosters, if you've repped, you've then had a week off, and then you've played again. So, they've started well. I think you want to probably start well, but really fragmented start for the women's program this year.
It's funny though, isn't it? Like it's similar actually at the top level, NRLW.
Yeah.
But the NRLW competition hasn't started, and they're playing State of Origin. Based on last year's form.
That is bizarre. we spoke about it off air. If you haven't seen that game, obviously the game 1, fantastic. The Blues outfit just looks sublime, and of course. I have to point out homegrown talent, Kennedy Charrington. It does grate me that she's wearing the light blue, but fantastic to see how we're having fun out there. And she also had a bit to say as well during the week with the announcement for the Bears as well. So she's up and excited, and I think she's probably looking forward to eventually coming home and possibly wearing the red and the black when they bring the W franchise in.
I'm sure she'd love to represent Western Australia. She had a great game too. She had a fantastic game. But you talk about her talking during the week. I saw her every time she got tackled, she was having a chat to the player that tackled.
Yes,
she does not stop talking.
No. Yeah, and I often wonder how someone like Kennedy Charrington manages to get up for this type of game, because she just appears like she's just enjoying every moment. It runs through her opposition number and then gets up and wants to have a chat about it. She's got a fantastic mindset.
Yes, she certainly does. All heart as the Roosters. The Roosters are putting on a bit of a show here at the moment. The Giants are under all sorts of pressure. Herrera with a great tackle there on Paul. Comes from Foster. Foster goes back to Graham. Graham raking that one across field. It's diffused there by the Giants in Munro. She didn't look like she wanted to wear the contact there, Tegan Munro.
It was a good chase.
Slow to her feet. Well, the Giants have got to look to some of their experienced players. Kiri Smiler looking to get in dummy half there, but she gets pushed out of the way by Matthew.
Contact's fine, 13. Training stand!
Just trying to get out of their own end. Now Edwards looks for the contact with Foster and tries to bump her away. Easier said than done. Matthew again goes open side. I look to use the ball. A nice little in and away. Shrugs out of another tackle before the reinforcements arrive. Jenkins finishing off the tackle.
Pulse flat.
Bit of a hit up here from Amy Harrison. And that's tackle 5. Well, you could hear the Roosters screaming, kicker, kicker, kicker. Everyone knew it was the last except the Joondalup Giants. Now Jenkins gets out of dummy half for a carry. But because of that poor last tackle option, they're in good field position, but they won't be for long. The try scorer, Rihanna Kwan, just working down a short side. Wasn't too much going down that narrow corridor. Knocks it on. And will let the Giants off the hook. The defending premiers going down in round 1. And 8 minutes gone here. They're down 4 points to 0.
Wait for the out
On
call.
the Vintage Road Haulage scoreboard.
Retire, Blue. Retire. Ball in. Out.
Because not telling Janaea Paul to retire from rugby league, just to retire to the base of the scrum. There, Liam Noonan.
Early Blue headgear. And 11.
Shrugging away from a couple there. You heard Liam Noonan in the effects mics.
Great call.
Called 2 players out there for Fremantle, and they give away the penalty.
This will be the first opportunity they get to go inside Freo's end zone. Not very deep on the kick. In fact, it's going to go out just.
Ball's been touched.
So to play the ball rather than a tap, so it doesn't change too much with the touch. So it's still a golden opportunity here for the Giants to perhaps get one back. And even take the lead with a converted try. So taking that one forward, Harrison. 3 in the tackle from the Roosters, slowing it down. Matthew goes to Edwards. Edwards bounces away that time from Foster. Shovels out on wider. And Warren stands in the tackle. Edwards gets in the way a little bit that time before it gets out to Herrera. Herrera dancing, spins out of a tackle, looking to get out of a second and a third. Slam down. Facing the wrong direction. Run out of dummy half. Strong carry. Matthew. The kick goes across field and taken nicely by the Roosters.
Well done.
It was a good set from Joondalup, but the Fremantle Roosters credit to their defence.
She had to take that catch really low as well, crouched in the ground, had a runner coming right at her. Bit of courage there.
Go 2.
And now the Roosters are running out of dummy half, an offload, and a half break. The Giants having to scramble there on Alicia Foster. A little bit confused, lost their way a little bit on that play. Still they get up towards the 40-metre line, coming out of trouble. Goes to Foster. Foster looks to do the shovel pass out the back. They go out now with Horner. Horner takes the tackle. Quick play the ball on the last. Foster goes back looking for the kick there from Paul.
Backwards, play on.
Knocked back by Herrera. And Munro will go back and pick it up. And again, stops at the defensive line. Well, there's a habit she's going to have to get out of. It's going to get bashed out of her if she doesn't.
It was a good, I was about to say it was a good defensive set, but that chase down was even better. I mean, that's what, 30-40 they've made up and pushed the Giants well back deep inside their own half. So, great chase.
Go 2.
Well, Edwards, she's been very busy. Another carry. To shift out to an edge. Doesn't look like they're going to find too much room, though. They're very well organised defensively there, the Roosters. Never looked like breaking them down on that occasion. The slow play the ball. Claudia Foster. Really slowing down the ruck and owning that space. Get to their kick.
For the chase here. Oh, she's just pulled out there.
Well, Horner looks to counter-attack immediately. Spins around, finds the front. She's generally got a quick play the ball, although they do well enough to slow that down on that occasion. Now Foster beats the shooter out of the line. Makes another good 10 metres or so. Roosters now with a run out of dummy half. Berryman. Warren just trying to turtle around on top. So they slow things down again. Swinell stepped one way, gets off the right boot. Hard to handle, she's strong, gets the offload, it goes wide to Kwan. She busts out of one tackle. Still going. Ridden to the ground. Now the Roosters with Graham. Graham gets that off to Horner. Horner put down centre field. 10 out on 5. Good position to let's see what they can come up with. The kick across field. Hangs a hand out. Well, it was a try-saving hand, even though she's unable to run away with the 4 points down the other end.
Here it is on replay. If we see it again. So, yeah, if this goes over, it's try time. So you had to play at it. Actually, quite a well-weighted kick in the end.
Acacia Jetta, she's got some very good skills and almost put that one on a dime. They do get another set of 6 and the Giants will still do well to hold them out, you feel. Comes out to Graham. Graham goes out the back of Manning Daniel to Retene. At a dummy half goes Podmore. And another try, is it? Getting across for a second, Rianne Kwan. She scored 2, as she knows. She's just short. Told to play the ball. It comes across to Graham. Graham gets it off to Runga, who's put down.
Go through.
Short ball, forward pass.
Oh, let off.
It's all hands.
Just a let off there, yeah.
Gold loose.
I think they had an overlap there on that far side as well. They were keen to move that one quickly. And a let off for the Giants. They've got to get out of their own end. Although I'd say that they haven't had much hand on ball up to this point.
Arms around, hold their goal. Need a half-back blue, stay here, Freo. Heads in. Right, ball in now, 2 hands. Break. They got to get it.
I guess, yeah. We're alluding to there, Dave, the best friend for the Joondalup Giants at the moment is the scoreboard. Only down 4-0. Well and truly in this game.
Go one. Contact fine. Don't work.
The Giants trying to work it out of their own end. That pass a little bit behind Edwards, who does well to hold on to it. Keeps it pressed against the hip to maintain possession. Again, looking to hit this left-hand edge. The Giants have explored down that corridor a few times. Perhaps they do see some sort of defensive weakness. Or maybe it's an attacking strength. We see some heavy contact. The kick straight down the middle. Taken by Retene. A good chase from the Giants. Met and put away pretty quickly. Jenkins out of dummy half.
Good read.
Markers work well, but still gets some post-contact metres up towards halfway. Out of dummy half go the Roosters. Well, nobody wanted that one. No one at all. Swinell eventually picks it up off the ground. She'll burst through the first tackle there of Wiley. Podmore to Runga.
Go on, Ellie.
They put the kick through. The chase is important. You can hear the crowd getting up. She gets to the ball there, Berryman. Berryman gets the pass away, and it'll be a try to Foster. Well, they just kept it alive, and eventually they go over. The Giants just run out of numbers.
Just great body work on the deck there. Hopefully we see it on the replay. They both got to the ball at the same time, so and it's an art form not to knock it on, because we'll see here on the replay, great body work to position herself in between the, here it is, uses it, pushes her out the way, gets it, and then she just has to hold the ball with enough time to get herself a free arm to offload here. So great chase, great body work, a lot of veteran skill there.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. It was all legal, of course. You're not allowed to push players out of the way, but shoulder to shoulder is all fine. And just use the physicality to get legally to the ball, and then just able to stand in the tackle afterwards. Wait for the reinforcements to arrive. And
not a bad kick, great kick.
Fantastic kick. Both kicks have been pretty close, but that one goes over, and the Roosters, they go out to a 10-0 lead.
See it again. Good kick, good chase. And here's the use of the body here. Look, just bang, out of the way, get herself between the ball. And not just that, it's the turn inside to the play. So she's managed to put her opponent towards the sideline, give her that opportunity to not pick it up, but then have her runners come through on that right side. So when she does get her hand free, she can offload. So really smart footy there.
Well, the Giants, they're back-to-back premiers, but yet to score a point so far in 2025. We're almost a game and a half in.
They haven't been too far off tonight. It's just they've given away, they've done a few silly things. Again, not discounting that try, it was great footy, but a few silly things deep in their own zone. And when they did get the ball up this end, Donnie, they came close. It was a good defensive effort from Freo. They just need more ball in hand up that end of the ground.
Yeah, you're right, but they're the top of the pile. They're the ones everybody comes
chasing.
for.
They're the chase. Yeah, they're the chase.
And the Roosters, well, now there's a chase on for Horner, and I don't think they're going to catch her. Horner sprinting away. Well, she'll be talking about that try for decades to come.
It's my favourite saying, Donnie. She ran into the next week. Right up the guts. And just like that, they've turned the game on its head. They're going to go inside the sheds at half-time. At least 16-0 down. Just that momentary loss of concentration. I think, was that first tackle? Was that first? I think it might have been.
Early in the count.
Yeah.
It was just and it wasn't as though it was a spectacular play, just a simple little underneath ball. And did catch a lazy inside defender. There was just one defender that didn't push across far enough. Horner got to the outside of her and too strong, just pulled through one tackle. No one at fullback, and shows that remarkable speed. She's more known as a real power athlete in the middle of the field for the Fremantle Roosters. A high defensive work rate, but showed that she's got some attacking brilliance as well, and speed.
As you said, that's something she'll put on the highlight reel.
Well, we'll have another look, because once again, just that simple little underneath ball.
Straight through,
There was only one missed tackle.
But no one at the back to clean it up.
Taria Herrera, she's no slouch, Taria Herrera, who was giving chase, but wasn't making any ground at all there on Katarina Horner. Suddenly, it's 16 points to 0. This game's been blown apart.
What do you do here, Donnie? 8 minutes to go. Do something different?
Well, I think you've got to try and get yourself into the game somehow. But,
oh, no.
Well, you've got to do it with your defence, and that's just not the way to do it. There seems a lack of commitment here from Joondalup at the moment. There's plenty of commitment from the Fremantle Roosters side of things as Podmore gets great meters out of dummy half.
Good.
And that one just hits up high on the shoulder.
First one by Blue.
Tonijevic bunts, not the best of passes. It hits the deck, but they'd made plenty of territory in that set already, so it's not exactly the best field position for the Giants.
That's got to do something with it.
Hook her arms over the top, please. So look now, she's tall now. Heads in, Joondalup, head in, ball in now. Break! Kick it! Kick it! It's all clear.
Oh, just...
Well, you heard the referee called break, and that was well before the ball was actually past the second rower's feet, I felt. But it allowed Fremantle to get right up there and almost intercept it.
Yeah, just missed that tackle. It would have been disaster.
Edwards, certainly been one of the Giants' best. Always gets through a work.
Looks like it's a good crowd up at the pavilion tonight, Donny.
Yeah, the mansion, it's well attended.
The mansion, as it was called. First game up at the Brook. Under lights.
Nice little step. It was one-on-one strip from Tiana Graham. Play on the call.
Just go.
Well, she did not back her speed at all there, Tiana Graham.
Just go.
She's still almost pulling out of the tackle.
Go. Drag him with you.
Well, I remember it was only a few years ago. She would have been one of the fastest in the comp. It's slowed down a little bit over the last couple of seasons. It's Tiana Graham.
Go to.
Wasn't backing herself to have the legs. So now the Roosters again. Right on the attack. Henry. Slow play the ball. Back to Podmore. Podmore gets the pass out to Norton. That pass looks forward from Retene, and it is called. Well, even from the angle we've got, that looked forward.
It was just disappointing because they had a huge overlap on that left there. But it's a let off for the Giants. We'll see it here. Yeah, way forward. Yep. Just mistimed that. I think their body angle as well. She threw that in front of her. But let off for the Giants. Still got 4 minutes and change to go in the first. I've been locked inside this end for a while. No idea what she was thinking there.
That's what she was thinking. All offside.
Yep.
Had to be a penalty.
Marks up here, offside 9. Would you like to repack the scrum or would you like the penalty?
I think they'll take
penalty.
Sure.
Sorry, sir.
I don't want to pretend to be the Joondalup captain, but I think they'll tap and go. And they do exactly that. Gilmore Spence out there into a dummy half roll. Not a role that I'm overly familiar seeing her play, but she's been in there the last two rucks as they get that pass out wide, stepping back in field and running straight into Ainsley Henry and Claudia Foster. Don't do that.
No.
Just a little bit of advice.
Slow to play the ball. They're all sorts at the moment.
Just players in the way, and
it's almost like they've been playing a full game of footy already. There's a bit of lethargy out there. Not sure. Don't want to wait till half time. There's still 3 minutes and change here. Plenty of footy left.
They're just a little disorganised. There is a few players that are playing out of position. They've got experienced players out there trying to get them into key spots rather than... there's obviously a lot of inexperienced players out there as well that they're trying to nurse through this little period. They don't want to give up more points here before half time. They'd love to score themselves before the break. They can't afford to go any further behind. Podmore wants that quicker play the ball. Takes a couple of steps out of dummy half. So now the Roosters go through with Foster. She's gone straight through the other side. Retene wants to dance and eventually comes up with a tackle.
Bit of a goosey there too, Donny. I like it.
You love a good goosey. As Norton goes to the line, gets the pass out. It comes from Berryman. Berryman goes wider. The Roosters spinning out of the tackle, spinning around and getting it down.
Oh, that was something from nothing.
The try to the Roosters out wide. It's the number 24 is, I don't have a 24 on my list. So we'll give it to the number 20 on my list because I haven't seen a 20 yet. So good try to Darren Fatah. It might not have been her, but that's who we'll give it to.
Well, you've just finished saying they didn't want to have any more points scored against them. And they've done just that, unfortunately.
And the kick from out wide. It's not Tiana Graham on this occasion. Got a new kicker who's got a big smile on her face with the feedback she's getting from the sideline. There's some bit of banter from family and friends. Puts it up towards the post, but never quite had the legs. So it remains 20 points to 0. The Fremantle Roosters dominating the Joondalup Giants here at Charlotte's Vineyard. In Women in League round.
It is Women in, yes. It's remiss of us to mention that. Women in League round across the country.
Yeah,
and while we have seen a couple of blowouts in the first two rounds, I mentioned this last week, it's good to see we've got an extra team in the comp this year. So Willagee, I tell you what, it's a good time to be a Bear, isn't it? Both the Willagee teams looking pretty good, very youthful, and it's almost like they might have the same coaching staff because they're playing the similar run and gun sort of style. It's great to watch. Yeah. Well, we've got a 10-minute break here, Donny, and speaking of the Bears, obviously during the week was the big announcement at HBF Park. I was lucky enough to be down there along with what appeared to be the entire press corps of Western Australia, and we recorded the press conference, some of which you may not have seen, and some good behind-the-scenes stuff. Now, we thought we'd bring that to you at halftime this evening. So sit back, relax, and listen to what all the head honchos had to say about the Bears coming in, the Perth Bears in 2027.
We're down here at HBF Park, wonderful stadium as part of Perth's sporting infrastructure. Also with us is the Chair of the National Rugby League, Peter V'landys, and NRL Chief Executive Officer, Andrew Abdo. I'm excited to announce that the WA Government has reached agreement with the Australian Rugby League Commission to establish a new WA-based NRL club. Like Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane, WA will host AFL and NRL sides.
I'm incredibly excited. When I walked onto the field this morning, I had a goosebump moment. I mean, it was pretty quiet here, but there's going to be a roar, James. There's going to be a roar at this stadium in just over 18 months when that team takes the field. There'll be a roar in Perth, the city. There'll be a roar in Western Australia, and there'll be a roar around the country. And you know the passion that our fans have for our game. And I think everyone is genuinely excited. This state is about sport, and it's about community, and that's what our sport's all about. So we've had overwhelmingly positive sentiment from our fans, from our teams, and we are incredibly excited to be part of this community.
We've worked hard to secure this deal, and we took a strong negotiating position. Oh look, obviously this has been a long haul. We've been negotiating with the NRL for many months now. Those conversations have been positive. I was very excited yesterday to sign the agreement with the NRL, and we're really looking forward to now establishing the Perth Bears and making sure that we can be part of the national competition.
And let me say this about Roger. Someone asked a question if we were mates or not. It was the negotiations were like a game of rugby league. He was a halfback I couldn't catch, so he's certainly a wily character and a very good negotiator. But at the end, I think we're both very satisfied with the deal that was done.
Oh look, Peter and I remained good colleagues, and as a result of this program, great mates. But it was a deal to be done, and we had to negotiate hard, and we did. This will be a membership-based club and a not-for-profit club. The club will be chaired by a Western Australian,
it was important to us that this was owned by the people of Western Australia. It was important, and it was a very strong point by the Premier. He wanted this as a West Australian-owned team. We don't want to have a single owner or owners. We want the people of Western Australia to own it, so that it'll revert back to a club after the 5 years.
As the Premier mentioned, this will be a community-based, member-based club. That's really important. It's really important to the Commission. It's really important to the government, which means that this will be a community-based sport where the members can have a say. And that's exciting for us. So there'll be an opportunity. Of course, there's scarcity here, but there's an opportunity when we play State of Origin. We're going to sell that out at Optus Stadium. So we're very excited, and there'll be an opportunity for both the Bears members and obviously the Perth-based members to become involved in the club.
I mentioned before that as part of the agreement, the state will provide $65.6 million in financial support to the new club over 7 years for grassroots development, establishment costs and match day support and tourism marketing.
No, I never underestimated a good halfback. No, he's, as I said, he's got a mean sidestep on him, but he's... and look, and I felt sorry for the Premier because he had to go to an election, and we did stop the negotiations during the election because we shouldn't have been doing them. They were in caretaker mode, and we respected that. Well, I think the media coverage has been a bit biased in the sense that the main newspaper here is owned by Seven West Media that has the AFL rights, let's be quite frank. So they don't want us to be here because they realise we're going to be competitive and we're going to take some of their lunch, and we eat a lot. So we'll be taking a fair bit of their lunch.
If I can, sorry, I just want to also acknowledge the presence that we have in Western Australia at the moment with Bob Cronin, John Saxon and others, and our team of hardworking Western Australia Rugby League employees have done a great job. We've got 5,000 registered tackle participants. We've got 17,000 touch participants already. That number is just going to skyrocket. And this is about bringing a men's team and then eventually a women's team. And our women's game is growing incredibly fast around the country. So this is a great opportunity from the grassroots up in terms of registered participation, Perth-based players and fans.
I heard the figure of $28 million return. Our figure is actually $50 million return to the government. The beauty about this particular team is you're going to have 200,000 members coming from New South Wales called the Bears. And the Bears are a very tribal club. They love the club and they will travel. So I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised the number of visitors that will come to Perth from the eastern states and in particular the North Sydney fans. Roger was very clear, what's our return on capital, what's our return on capital? And the return on capital is those 200,000 Bears fans will certainly be making the trip over to Perth, and I think, as I said, I think it's closer to $50 million return each year than the $28 million.
Well, look, we know it moves quickly, and this is sport, right? It's a bold move in sport. We know that raises passions and opinions, and you've seen some of them come across the press conference today. But this is a great outcome for WA. We're really proud of it, and that's why we're keen to get the information out there.
Well, I've got to tell you, the sponsors certainly haven't been worried about the AFL because we've been inundated with sponsorship requests. The sooner we can get started, the better, because we've had some very big companies that want to sponsor the Perth Bears because they can see how exciting it is, they can see the potential of it, and I'm sure we'll announce some very big sponsors in the next month or two.
As you pointed out, there's a short runway here to be competitive from the men's team, and then the work is already underway around how we can get our established winners pathways, and ultimately the expansion of the NRL Premiership, having a team here makes a lot of sense.
I'm very comfortable. We'll announce a CEO very quickly, and that'll be a Perth-based person at this stage. So, and once he's appointed or she's appointed, they will then get the football money. It'll be out of the blocks pretty quickly, and that's why it was important that we finalised the deal yesterday, so we can get moving, because there's no doubt it's a tight time frame. But
we are back live here with the second half. Hope you enjoyed the fantastic announcement that we had during the week over here in Western Australia. The Perth Bears, they'll be in the NRL from 2027. A lot of hard work to be done between now and then. And a lot of hard work to be done here for the Joondalup Giants, trailing 20 points to 0 at the break. The Fremantle Roosters well and truly in control. And in their first set of the second half, they're already up into the Giants' half, and they should have a pretty attacking kick at the back end of this set as Tiana Graham turns that one underneath. I'm Donnie Bell, joined by Dave McRae. Do you see any way back for the Giants in this one?
Oh, look, you mentioned it just before the break. They needed to be able to keep either score and or keep what was it, 16-0 up to that point. I think that last try is going to make it pretty tough for them, and this isn't a good start. I always thought they probably needed to be the first to score. The first 5-10 minutes of the game, they looked okay, but they've just been defending most of this. Oh, there's a lucky break. They've just been defending most of the game now. And just some lapses of concentration if you just joined us in that second half. Just some really simple lapses probably cost them 8 to 10 points as well in that first half. So it's a long way back.
Smiler got down low, bumped off one, but then there's 2 more Roosters to make sure she hits her back. Naria tipping that one on as she gets to the line. The Roosters, they're just so well organised in everything they've done so far tonight. They've handled everything that the Giants have been able to throw at them as Edwards picked up and put down. She's had a good battle there with Claudia Foster. I've enjoyed that little personal battle between the 2 front rowers. It's about the only one that's even, though, across the field. They're losing almost every other individual battle, you'd think, the Giants.
Made a good kick here.
They actually get to a kick on this occasion. It bounces away from the Roosters and the chasers come through. The offload back to Foster. Foster, she's been hard to handle. That's Alicia Foster. Got 1 try. Another good run out of dummy half. Had a runner and Swinell on her outside shoulder as well. She's going to pop that little pass and they might have been through once more. Looking to the outside, bouncing away from a couple. Another one of the Roosters try scorers here in Katarina Horner. And, well,
There was a bit of pressure there from the marker. A bit of pressure. They want to go quick.
Tonijevic Bunce has had a few moments to forget, I think. The number 9 for the Roosters. A couple of times she just stepped out and thrown a pass that wasn't quite on. And has handed over possession.
Go on.
She'll look to sharpen up as this contest continues.
Release, Henry!
Giants now swung around. And that tackle is Edwards. And look who she runs into. The 10 and the 8. They come together once more.
Square 12!
Edwards and Foster resume hostilities. To step through and out the other side. A chance now for the Giants. Some more great footwork there from
that was
Mawika.
fantastic.
Namata Mawika plays the ball back. They've got to use the ball. It goes out to Smiler. Smiler gets it to Naria. Naria tips it on further and Herrera steps through.
Oh, she got there down. She almost made a middle of it at the end. That is it. That they had to score first. That run was sublime, Donny. That was fantastic. I can't wait to see this on the replay. They wanted to give them more of the ball this year. We've just missed the run, but I tell you what, they almost muffed it here. She was in 2 minds. I don't even know if that was a pass. It might have been knocked out in the tackle. But they netted that. The door is just slightly ajar now. They had to score first. There we go. There's the all begun with the run.
Come to the right. No, send them my way. Send them my way.
The footwork from Namata
Oh,
Mawika just stepped through. And then the speed just hit the afterburners.
Made me feel old.
You don't know where they're taking the kick from yet.
That's probably the first real opportunity Joondalup have had to really put some pressure on the Freo line, get them out of a bit of sorts, because at the moment they haven't done a lot to test them. I mean, their structure's been good because they haven't had that structure tested. So I thought they were going to make a meal of it at that back end on that far edge. They had the numbers there. They had the spread. Again, just that testing line They haven't done much of that, but hopefully she can do something with this. And again, the door's slightly ajar. And at least it's the first game, Donny, where we've seen two teams score points.
The conversion attempt is well, accurate enough, but just not quite long enough. It goes underneath the crossbar. And they're on the board, the Giants.
Here's the run. Is this the run? No, this is the run. Look at this. Look at that. She dummy to her left, dummy to her right. Look at this. Look at that. How many ankles you got? I'll break them both.
Number 1. Make sure you're working your 10.
Snapped a few, and this is what ended up. They had to use the ball. I thought they were it was going to break down. They weren't going to shift the ball wide. Got out there to Tario Herrera, and the sliding Fremantle Roosters defence, just that one big right foot, and it opened up for too much class, and the Giants get on the board. Still down by 16, but suddenly you're talking about there being plenty of time left on the clock.
I hope, yeah, 23 minutes. Still plenty of time. And again, remembering that Freo scored 12 points in the matter of 2 minutes in the first half.
Well, there's a coach killer. That's.
I'm just channeling our friend, Mr. James Sullivan. You got to complete after points.
Yeah, I was just getting images of Jason Riles last night in the Parramatta Eels box, just slamming his head against the glass in frustration. I'd imagine a similar feeling for the Giants coach here at Charlotte's Vineyard, as the Roosters look to get that 4 points back pretty quickly. Tonijevic bunt goes out to the right-hand side. Dummy and go from Swinell. Slices through like a hot knife through butter and plants it underneath the black dot.
Speaking of toe, she's got some as well. They just... And again, mucking up that kick return. That whole... And you can see it there, just on the right, that whole defensive lineup, the whole defensive setup for Joondalup. I just feel that once they muff that kick return, the ball's gone out. It's almost like their heads have dropped. I mean, they just got themselves back in a position, scoring within the first few minutes, and then they've just gone, well, that's it. And that play there from Freo, they only did 2 or 3 tackles to get some more points on the board, but that was an apathetic defensive effort from Joondalup there.
Yeah, it was,
thank you.
Yeah, there was a bit of arm grabbing and. You cannot arm grab on Huia Swinell. She is one of the strongest players in the competition, pound for pound. Just very, very hard to tackle when you make good contact. If you're just hanging an arm out, you are no chance. Conversion attempt successful as we have another look at the Swinell try.
9 minutes.
Just skip to the outside and pulls through that tackle very, very simply.
And just a couple of hands on hips there, so not great signs. Joondalup clearly have some personnel challenges. They don't have, they don't have the list, etc. They did last year. They are back-to-back premiers, but this is the first time we saw them. I managed to see a bit of the game last week in prep against Ellenbrook. They might have a bit of a premiership hangover, Donny. And I know that sounds a bit silly coming in from from a community league, but we all know, if you know anything about the women's comp, and obviously we've been doing this for a few years now, I mean, they went hell for leather for a number of years to try and catch Ellenbrook.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids continually. And I remember the first year, 2 years ago, when they actually won the premiership, it was always like, has this actually happened? And then to back it up again last year, it wasn't a great game, admittedly, from Ellenbrook last year, but maybe there's a bit of that hangover. They've reached that emotional mountain. And
well, I expected that to happen last year. Yeah. I thought after the emotion of finally winning that first premiership 2 years ago, that they would naturally drop off. It was a few of those older players.
Huge surprise to me.
Yeah, I thought
grand final. I thought I thought Ellenbrook were going to come out and absolutely pump them. Admittedly, the seasonal results were kind of split, but it was a big surprise to me. And I think there's many people probably in the Joondalup camp that were surprised too as well.
Yeah, back-to-back champions, but went down last week 36-0 and 26-4 they trail in this game. As Fremantle looking to heap a little bit more pain onto the Giants as this one continues. The kick goes across.
Just waiting for the contact.
Well, she's been quite tentative in contact throughout this game, Tegan Munro, and is that's just the evidence of there's a few players in there that clearly don't have the levels of experience that they had across the park over the last couple of years. But they'll build her confidence up as the season goes along. I'm sure she'll become a very confident member of this Giants lineup. They've got to find their way. There's still some very good players in this Giants team, but they seem to lack the glue that holds it all together.
So my understanding, it will be a 3-team final series again, so top you'll go through. So it's really going to be a battle for that second and third spot this year.
We're looking at the Roosters, and we saw Willagee last week, along with the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs. Obviously none of those sides are played against each other yet, but it'll be interesting to see how those teams go when they get tested by stiffer opposition. As the charge down, I think there might have been a double head knock in there as well. And the Roosters come up with the ball.
The noises sounded worse than it looked, I think. Well, it looked worse than it sounded, I'm not sure. just saw it on replay. I'm sorry. I'm just saying it.
Slow motion. We've got to turn that one into a meme, I reckon.
It's a bad one. It came off the head of the hit. Oh, I'm sorry.
Dave McRae's lost it here in the comm box as Taria Herrera scored one, and he's a great kick return. An important tackle from Norton over the top. Slows it down as well, so it does a really good job there. Now Smiler looks on the inside, it hits the deck. Go back and clean it up, but Roosters surrounding the ball carrier.
Good line speed. There's still plenty of time to score. I mentioned this last week in the call. When you've got teams that are going down 70-odd-0, these type of games are the ones where you might not be on the right side of the ledger, but you've got to score. Because if you're going down 70-odd-0 in the game previously, you've got to put points on the board. Especially when we're talking about top 3. There's probably you throw a blanket over 3 teams to fit into those last 2 spots. Not that we are calling it a bit early with Ellenbrook, but points are important.
So now out of dummy half, spins out of one, pushes through another strong carry. Bit of push and shove with the marker as well. Roosters through Fata. Plays it back. The whistle's been blown.
I haven't seen the signal.
Captain! 24.
It's a bit of chat.
Just hit.
24.
Ball, hang up, and then walk into the ball. I'll manage them.
Well, I think so. He's saying walked into the...
Yeah, we saw a bit of push and shove in between the Hui Swanell when she was playing the ball, and then on the next tackle, It's like he lost patience because the same thing happened as she walked forward into the marker and took them out of play.
Yes, and I was actually, she was doing all sorts of strange things on the ground as though she wasn't being held, but she was acting like she was. So, yeah, Liam Noonan, good refereeing. Good opportunity now for the Giants to put some points on.
Smiler rolls over, finds a front, quick play the ball. The Giants, that one underneath. The stand in the tackle and driven backwards. Taurima. Another penalty here for the Giants. They tap and they go.
They have to score. Surrendered there.
Well, she surrendered thinking there was an obstruction, but it was the referee that...
It's got to come back. You can't. So what's he going to do here?
It wasn't one of her own teammates.
No.
It was the referee. And
Was that first?
I'm not sure. I don't know what just happened. But here we go. The Giants with Edwards. Edwards trying to crash over, runs in behind her own players, and an obstruction is called.
Okay, so we got there in the end.
Well, that was one of the more confusing sets I've seen.
It's just some hands. Well, we don't know. You're out there, girls. I've got no idea.
It started with the referee causing an obstruction that saw the Giants surrender in a tackle, and then an actual obstruction occurred for which the Giants were penalised. So that was a Twilight Zone set if ever I've seen one.
No.
And the Giants now appealing for an obstruction penalty. Everybody's losing their mind right now. Referee Noonan says no as Podmore goes for a scurry out of dummy half to try and get this game back looking like rugby league. It comes to Foster. Foster carries 3, stands in the tackle, waits for the referee to call held before shrugging them away. Now Norton. Norton fires it out. They've got some space out wide, but put down by Berryman and over the sideline. They'll hand it over, Giants ball. Beth Norton on the front foot is a dangerous rugby league player.
I think it was that second pass there, just held back one step, which put that run off. And so when it was passed to her, it was just a bit beyond her. Fingernails weren't long enough.
Now the Giants, can they get their second try of the evening? Play the ball back to Gilmore Spence. She goes across to Warren. Warren stands in the tackle, still hard to put down, still struggling forward before the held call eventually comes. Gilmore Spence goes to Edwards. Edwards hard and straight. That's more a go. Going across field, gets penalised for an obstruction.
14 not there.
Hard and direct as Warren rolls it in behind, and it's picked up by Berryman. Berryman wants to counter-attack, pulls through one tackle, then picks out a target and runs there straight at Taurima, who makes the tackle along with Gilmore Spence. They work back down towards this same short side. The Roosters with the play the ball, and Norton puts it down.
No.
Well, I keep inviting the Giants to have a crack, and they've certainly shown a bit in the second half.
Take advantage. That kick, that last kick off that last set, Donny, again, I don't know what you saw, but again, it felt like there was just, the runner just held back. Just held back. Yeah. Just, I mean, you're one-on-one, just go for it. I mean, if you miss it, the result's exactly the same. If you don't, you could score. At the very least, you're putting under pressure, you might actually keep them deep in that area.
Or cause an error.
Cause an error, something. Here we go.
We see the Giants working down this left-hand side.
Agrees with me.
We've got another commentator in the effects mic.
Enjoying his or her rugby league down there, up there, and what do you call it? The mansion.
The mansion.
The mansion.
Now the Giants. As Edwards will play the ball. Pass comes across. Goes out now to Herrera. Herrera goes across.
Score here.
Looking to find a runner to straighten it. Can't quite get there, Taurima. Herrera at dummy half. Crashing towards the line. Can't get there.
Is it held up or is it knock on? Waiting for the signal. No.
Short. There you are. Was short on last.
Almost.
Topaz Porter couldn't get it. Couldn't quite reach out and get it down. They hand it over just a metre or so out. The Roosters with the run from dummy half.
Hold there now. Hold, goal, hold. Go two.
Now Podmore goes to Swinnell.
Still two. Let's tackle there. Marcus Gibbons.
Is that Kwan?
Hold 25. Hold.
That's Rihanna Kwan.
6. 13. Held. Tackle 4. Hold's good.
Turner Wallace dummied on the outside to no one, and it wasn't fallen for at all by Gilmore Spence.
Kicker's fine.
They get to the kick.
Daniel.
Through Paul.
Thank you.
Bounces between a couple of Giants before it is eventually picked up by Herrera. He's looked the player most likely. She's trying everything she can on the attacking side.
Bang! There's some contact.
There's a good strong run and good strong contact there from Sophie Foxcroft. Turning that one underneath and again getting down low, and the body's coming together with some force, and that time the Giants coming off second best. Juggle there and some pain on the face there at Taria Herrera.
Immediately. She went down immediately. I could see it on her face. Right in front of our cameras. Cramping.
I think it's cramp.
Yeah, I think it is cramp.
I think she's just completely seized up with cramp.
Which was why the call don't touch it, if you heard the effects, Mike. So,
well, I mean, I'm glad that it's cramp. Because
and it's just happened just at that point where she's,
And she's been everywhere for the Giants. You can understand why she's suffering from a little bit of cramp.
Yeah. I think I got one too, Lynette.
You've got mine.
Yeah, she has been one of the better ones.
You got the prince
for the defending premiers.
Hey. Tackle 4.
Because early in the season for everyone, including Liam Noonan's voice, who is it's not quite in training.
Not yet. If you're
fitter for the run,
that's right. If you're watching from interstate or overseas, thank you so much for joining us on NRL Pathways. If you are watching from outside Perth, you would not know that it's actually been. I don't know why I keep saying this. Unseasonably hot. I think it's just a saying now, isn't it? Because it doesn't matter what time of year it is.
It's always warm. It's always unseasonably warm here in Perth.
May. It is May, and it was 31 point something or whatever today, and yesterday was 30 as well.
Well, exactly. It's been back-to-back days over 30.
It's very, really odd.
We've forgotten what rain is. We resume play. On tackle 5 now. Warren gets the kick in.
Thank you.
It's taken on the full by Foster.
Go one.
Good strong run from Quan.
Mark is getting close.
Now outside, inside, and some great ball play. Goes out to Swinnell. She bounces away from 1-2.
Stepped out.
And she's gone into touch. Well, it was a powerful run. Some silky ball playing, though, from Tiana Graham in the lead-up. It was
Some more
like
creases
watching
too,
Katoa from the Dolphins,
Yeah,
the way she
yeah.
looked inside, outside, found an outside runner. It all comes to nothing, though, as Swinnell steps out. Now the Giants. And they create something else for their highlights reel. Stepping through Horner. Chopping tackle down low. More what she's known for than the 50-metre run she did earlier that I'm sure will be 95 by the end of the night.
Tackle 4.
Gilmore Spence. Pass from dummy half and it's just put down cold. Shake that one off. Kennedy Joe Solomon.
Mark's in here, goal. Need a half-back goal. Heads in, arms around.
Solomon comes in to act as
Ball in
halfback as Janae Paul feeds the scrum. Goes out to Graham. Graham just tipping that one on. Again, finding early ball to their power runners on the edges. Quan, dummy on the inside again there from Tiana Graham. This time she runs herself. Shows some of her own power. Now Podmore to dummy half. But just look for the hit up now. Slowish play the ball. Goes from Swinnell to Paul. Paul finds Horner. This time chopped down low. Good tackle. Podmore at dummy half. Goes to the right hand side. Takes the run herself. Runs into Edwards. Still backing towards the try line. Eventually the jersey's ripped off her head. Swinnell goes out of dummy half. Didn't like what she had in one way. Came back the other. Changed her mind a third time and almost gets to the line. But put down on 5 and they'll hand it over.
Yep, play it.
There's a good run out of dummy half. The Roosters' defence on that side of the field just didn't move up. So able to make some decent metres and give themselves a little bit of breathing room.
Hands up! To me, Blue! 5, hold!
Speaking of Liam Neeson's voice.
Release! To me!
Like he's a 15-year-old boy again.
Go, 3.
I'm always happy when Liam's on comms, but he's done another great performance today.
Hold, Levin, hold.
It's been very, very good. Matthew stands in the tackle, refuses to go to ground. Foster in the tackle as Warren gets the kick in, tries to thread it between a couple of Roosters, and Una Retene beats one, beats 2. Gilmore Spence makes the tackle around the legs as the full-time siren sounds. And the Roosters convincing victors, but it was only 6-4 in the second half. So the Giants will take something out of that second 30, but it's 26 points to 4, the Fremantle Roosters. They get the W.
I think it's a bit of an oxymoron second half. So yeah, the numbers in the second half a lot better. However, in my book, I think the Roosters were significantly the better side in the second half. But in saying that again, flip the coin. In that first half, we mentioned that the Roosters put on 8 to 10 points like that with some lax defence, So, what could have been? I don't know. Where we're at with the Giants, the defending premiers, I still think we probably need to see a couple more weeks before we really know where they're at. And we haven't. This is the first game for the Roosters, so we don't even know where they're at either. Donnie, a lot of questions to keep asking.
Well, I mean, we've seen. I think we've seen three very good teams so far in the Fremantle Roosters, the Willagee Bears, and the Yellowbrook Rabbitohs. Yep. As I said during the call, looking forward to seeing those two teams come up against each other to test where they're really sitting in this competition. The Joondalup Giants, I think they're a team that's going to get better. They've got a good mix of youth and experience. They've got some young players that are learning. They'll get better after having tough games against the Yellowbrook Rabbitohs and the Fremantle Roosters in the opening fortnight. They'll certainly have some easier games to come. I wouldn't be writing them off this early in the season, that's for sure.
Absolutely not. Look, and you mentioned youth, you mentioned that a couple of times. Across the competition, there's a lot of new faces, which I think is fantastic. We've had a number of seasons where some wily veterans in this league, and we can throw a blanket over a number of them. Nika Stevens, for example, and you look at Ellenbrook. They've been around, almost feels like they've been around longer than I have, Donnie. And one question I've always asked is, where's those next players coming from? Well, this is possibly the answer here. So it's great to see that the clubs, especially the likes of Joondalup and Willagee as well, and we can't forget Kalamunda. They are struggling at the minute, but pretty much a brand new side, a lot to learn. As long as they can keep those teams together and they can improve every single week and still give the players a reason to turn up and compete, and the women's game again can get back to the levels it has been in previous seasons, nice and strong, and we can start competing again at state level.
Absolutely. I think there's nothing but good things ahead for rugby league in Western Australia. And we might call it a night there. The Fremantle Roosters victorious here in round 2 of the Westpac Women's Premiership. Here in Women in League round, 26 points to 4. Thank you very much for joining us. See you next week.